Hello, and welcome to another video. In a previous video, we have reviewed the Cooler Master MasterBox Q300L PC case. You can find a link to that in the description. And today, using that case, we are going to build the cheapest Ryzen 3000 gaming PC. It may not be exactly a gaming PC where you can play everything on high settings, but still, it is the cheapest new Ryzen 3000 PC you can build, and I think it is a nice entry-level PC that you can game on if you're on a really tight budget. Without further ado, let's get into the build and see the hardware we are using for this build. We're going to use the Ryzen 3 3200G, the cheapest Ryzen 3000 CPU, which costs about $100 and includes also the CPU cooler. The 3200G is a 4-core, 4-threaded CPU, clocked at 3.6 GHz with a boost clock up to 4 GHz and comes with Vega 8 integrated graphics. Like all Ryzen CPUs, it is unlocked, and if you use a better cooling solution, it can be easily overclocked. The motherboard we are using is an M80X MSI B350 Bazooka, costing about $60, and offers plenty of features for our build, like an NVMe M2 slot, 4 slots for DDR4 RAM, USB 3.1, HDMI port, RGB header, and more. We won't be using some of these features, but that doesn't mean they are not important, because they may be useful if you want to upgrade in the future. We have 16 gigs DDR4 dual-channel RAM from G.Skill running at 3000 MHz, a cheap 120 GB SSD, and a 400-watt PSU from Cooler Master. Although 400 watts are more than enough for this build and will give you some room to upgrade to a dedicated GPU, I would suggest buying at least a 500-watt PSU so that you can easily add a more power-hungry GPU without the need to upgrade your power supply too. Now, 120 GB storage won't be enough to save your games on, but you can always add more later on or use any old hard drive you have. We could also install 8 gigs of RAM, something most people would do, but we thought it would be a better option going with 16 gigs so that we wouldn't have any RAM issues in our system. The fact that this motherboard has 4 RAM slots is really important and gives us the option to install 8 GB dual-channel RAM now and 8 more in the future just by adding 2 more RAM sticks. The total amount we spent on this build is about $300, buying only new components. But now, let's see how this system performs in gaming.
I need help.
Hands over here.
Someone set off a trap at the first site. We think it was...
As we saw, almost in all games, we used the lowest settings possible at 1080p and managed to achieve over 60 FPS on average most of the time. Well, it struggled a bit when playing graphic-intensive games, but I think it did great in all esports titles, considering its price. If you want a cheap entry-level gaming or everyday system, this is the way to go. Although, I would suggest that if you have $50 more to spend, going for the 3400G instead would be a much better choice. Well, that's it for today. I hope you liked the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more updates on this build, and also leave a comment telling me your thoughts about it. See you on the next one.